Now OBS and YouTube both say we're streaming. Hey, the fish life. Are we finally working? Finally up? Hey, the Olero, how's it going? I'm just looking up the website here that I need to do the comment selector. Hey, Susan, how's it going? Commentpicker.com. Let's see. Gary Person, what's up, man? Gary's a pretty cool dude. I ran into him when I went to Gerber's the other week, the last Friday's video. He caught me in the parking lot before I went in. Met him, talked to him a little bit there. Pretty cool dude. How's it going, Gary? Deacon Aaron Kirk. Oh, says you can't see or hear me. Anybody else having that problem? You may need to refresh there, Deacon. Hopefully that's all that we need. Let's see here. Just grabbing my URL from the 500 subs video. Okay, so I think I got everything set up there. The Fish Life, yes, I do have a website. It is fishnerdstore.com. Unfortunately, the fishnerd.com was already taken, so fishnerdstore.com. Not a whole lot on there, but I've got some fish and some snails and things on there, and I've got a page on there that tells you where to find the t-shirts because they're on Teespring, so I don't have them listed on my website, but I do have information there on how to get to them. Coolinator, how's it going? Glad you're here. Amelia's Menagerie, how's it going? Good to see you here. Airborne Aquatics, what's up? Okay, awesome. We got 14 watching right now. Sorry I was late. I was having technical difficulties. This is only the second time I've ever live streamed, and it's been several months since the first time I live streamed, and I forgot how to set it up. Yes, Susan, let me see if I can figure out how to mod you here. Add moderator. That's easy enough. So Susan is the mod. Obey her commands. Gary, yeah, I'm gonna go broke if I keep finding great fish stores, man. You and me both. Eddie Ortiz, how's it going? Glad you're here. Thanks a lot. The Coolinator says, anyone got a suggestion as to what I should put in my 90-gallon? Do you have anything in it yet already, or is this like a totally clean slate? Fish Life, yes, I'm using OBS. Airborne Aquatics says nothing much besides a goldfish getting his eye sucked out by a doja loach. Yikes! That's no good. That is no good. Yeah, I don't have that going on. which I also don't have goldfish or dojo loaches, so that would probably be why. Reed White, we'll see you later, man. Thanks for dropping in. Fish Person Vlog said, mod me so I can mess with people. Not if that's why you want it. Airborne Aquatics, I shall obey the mod forever. Yes. Susan will ban you. Obey Susan or she'll drop the ban hammer. Nah. Susan's about one of the sweetest people in the entire fish hobby, so we know she ain't gonna be banning anybody unless they really deserve it. And Susan is gonna be streaming at 7 Eastern, so 40 minutes from now, if any of you guys didn't already know that. So make sure you go over and join her at 7 Eastern, 6 Central for her live stream. They're always a lot of fun. I feel like Susan's live streams are the type live stream that just hanging out with Susan, you feel like you should just have like a plate of cookies and a glass of milk sitting there during her live stream, because she's like your favorite sweet aunt that would bake the cookies for you if she came, or if you came to her house. But since we're not really at her house, we have to provide our own cookies. That's kind of how I feel about it. Sergeant Tank in the house. What's up, man? Good to have you here, buddy. Fish Person, how long until the giveaway? I'm just going to give it a few minutes until some people roll in, just in case anybody else is going to show up. Maybe about 6:30, 6:40, something in there. Just chat for a few minutes and then do the giveaway and chat for a few more minutes before we go over to Susan's stream. Gary asks if any of us are in a fish club. I am. Although I have never been to an actual meeting. I'm in the Greater Cincinnati Aquarium Society. I'm a member, but I've never attended because all their meetings are on Sunday nights. So since their meetings are on Sunday nights and I have church on Sunday nights, being the youth pastor at my church, that takes the priority, so I'm not able to go to the meetings. But I do go to the auctions. V-Stag in the house. What's going on, man? Bentley says they're a member of the Greater Seattle Aquarium Society. That's awesome, man. So you're over there in Aquarium Co-ops area out there. That's pretty sweet. Scoot Scales and Furry Tails. How's my debts? Oh, my DBTs, my Diamondback Terrapins. They're doing great. I actually, this will be in Friday's video, but I actually got really freaked out yesterday. I had taken them out of the main tank in order to feed them, because I feed them in individual tubs. One, that way they don't compete with each other for food, and two, it keeps the mess out of the main tank. And I had them out in the garage, just in the garage floor in their tubs, and I went inside to eat myself because they're not able to climb out of the tubs they eat in. But then I went out after I was done eating myself to put them back in the main tank and realized they can escape. They just hadn't never done so successfully as of yet. But Raph, the biggest one, had actually crawled out, and I freaked out for a minute. I was able to find them pretty quick, but I definitely had a mild panic attack there for a minute when I went out and only 3 of the 4 tubs had turtles in them. But only took me like a minute to find him. But I was really glad he wasn't like up under something, hiding somewhere, which obviously he couldn't have gotten out of the garage because the garage door was shut and everything like that. I knew he was in there somewhere, but thankfully he didn't get into anything and didn't get hidden somewhere where I couldn't find him. So that freaked me out pretty good. Amelia, how's it going with you? Damian Rocha, or I'm gonna assume that's Roca. Said caution, don't leave cucumber for more than 4 hours in a tank. I did that and my tank smelled like baby vomit and left an oily film. Ooh, killed a quarter of my fish. That's no good, man. That's no good. I hate to hear that, buddy. Fish Life says I also haven't streamed in a long time. It can be hard, man. I give major props to the people who live stream a lot, like Bob Steenfott, and even he's kind of cutting back on his live streaming schedule, but still holding on to those weekly Mondays. And Sergeant Tank with the constant live streaming, almost on a daily basis, throwing out the live streams, and Susan doing 1 or 2 live streams a week. I give major props to them for sticking to the live streaming schedule, because it's difficult for me to even just carve out an hour and say, oh, I'll do a random live stream right now, let alone to say, you know what, every week this is when I'm going to do it. So props to those guys. Let's see. Oop, I went down too far. Amelia said I lost 9 tetras to overfeeding while we were on vacation. Ooh, that's no good. Came back to 8 ppm ammonia. Oh, some fish actually alive. Well, that's at least that's good. Yeah, pet sitters. It's hard, especially if it's somebody that doesn't have fish themselves. It can be really hard to trust somebody to know what they're doing, unless you're going to be the one to actually measure out the food and like put it in baggies and say, feed this on Monday, this on Tuesday, this on Wednesday, and like do all the work for them, and then they just have to do the feeding part, because a lot of people will be very apt to overfeed. That is definitely a risk we take if we get a pet sitter. That said, I'm going to have a pet sitter next week, because we're going to be out of town all week at a youth camp. I'm on the board of our church fellowship youth camp, so I'm going to be there helping run the camp all week. So we're going to have somebody come to feed the fish and the turtles. My dog will probably just go to mom and dad's house, and my parents will take care of him at their house, but I will have somebody feeding the fish and turtles. So I'm going to have to be prepping for that this week, so that I don't have the same problem, because that's definitely something that can happen. Let's see. Bentley says they're expert aquatic drug dealers. What am I missing? Oh, are you talking about the Aquarium Society? V-Stag says hit that like and share button. Thanks, V-Stag. Amelia, I get talking to Airborne, says, are you Christian too? I love finding Christian pet keepers. Totally agree. Totally agree. Mark's Ark Aquariums, what's going on, man? Glad you're here. Ronnie Cole. Dull, good to see you. Gary Person says, next week I'm going to start a 350-gallon wood tank. Nice, man. Are you doing that King of DIY style with the plywood and sealing it off? It'd be pretty sweet. Minnie says, pretty good. Need to restock on tetras. Lost 9. Yeah, that really stinks, man. That really stinks. Yeah, try the pill boxes. I think it was Life with Pets that had a video on using the pill boxes for the pet sitter to know how much to feed on individual days. Yes, Susan says that she and I will stream Thursday night at 6 p.m. Eastern. That is correct. 6 Eastern, 5 Central. She and I will be streaming on her channel. she invited me to join her over there, so we'll be doing that on Thursday. Amelia says, oh, I love that you're a youth pastor. That makes sense. You seem really good at communicating. Well, thank you. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Oh, Bentley said Aquarium Co-op is what I'm referencing. Yes, Aquarium Co-op is definitely aquatic drug dealers. I agree. I imagine Corey and anybody that is around him very much, his employees are probably very good at making you want a fish. I imagine, especially if it's Corey himself, he can, the way he can talk about things, it just seems so cool, like if he was in person with me talking up a fish and I'm there in his store, I would probably walk out with it. And I think I'm caught up with the chat. Awesome. Let's see if I can. So we got 19 watching. Cool. Anyone have any suggestions as to what I should put in my 90-gallon? Just got it Friday. Took a lot of work to get it cleaned up. We'll be ready for fish on Friday. You got a lot of options, Coolinator. There's a lot of things you can do with a 90-gallon. What kind of stuff are you into, man? Are you into community tank? Are you thinking cichlids? Are you thinking African? Are you thinking South American? What kind of stuff do you like to see the most? What kind of fish are you most interested in? Because I mean, we can give you suggestions all day long on what we like, but if it just fits our preferences, or if it's what all of us say is the coolest, it may not necessarily match what you are going to enjoy the most. So I would look at, different fish and different types of fish, different types of tanks, see which ones interest you the most, which ones you think you would get the most out of, because you're the one that's going to be taking care of it. You're the one that's paying for all of the equipment and the fish and everything. So you're the one that needs to be the most into this tank. So make sure it's fish that you're into. You leaving? Mm-hmm. My wife's heading out. Give me a kiss. Okay. Love you. So yeah, definitely. If you can tell us what type of fish you're interested in, or what kind of tank you would like for it to be, we can totally offer up suggestions, especially if there's different fish you haven't heard of that we have. But as far as like straight up telling you, oh, you should do this, it's going to come down to what you like. So honestly, Allie is the true master. She's got crazy memory and knows my tanks well enough to steer me towards things. I got into rainbows because of her, and now I'm an addict. They're so gorgeous. Yeah, that's pretty awesome. If you come into the store and she knows, oh, these are the tanks that this person has, and so they would probably like this based on what they've already got, that's impressive. That is good customer service for one, and a good salesperson for two. That's awesome. And I don't have rainbows yet, but I really, really want a rainbow tank. And I blame Bob Steenfott. It is all his fault, because I've looked at all his rainbows and I just want them. So I'm pretty sure a rainbow tank is in my future, whether it's near future or semi-distant future, that I can't say, but a rainbow tank is definitely in my future. Fish Life says put 90 dovies in it. I mean, the rule is 1 dovie per gallon, right? Rich says, I have an empty 150-gallon trying to do a breeding fish plant for profit. Awesome, man. That can be pretty fun. And with 150-gallon, you got a lot of room to breed and grow out in a tank that size if you're going to do some kind of community breeding setup, like with guppies or something like that. Got a lot of space for plants, too. Coolinator says, I have a Malawi tank, a community tank, guppy, South American, and angel tank right now. That's awesome. That's what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 tanks? It's pretty sweet, man. And he says, I'm in the middle of cycling a 90-gallon planted to prep for fish. For me, it was literally, what plants don't I have yet? Let's try them. That's a nice approach, especially if you're into plants. I love plants. I've kind of started leaning a little more towards the low-tech plants just because I've been doing so much. I've been staying so busy. I don't have time for the upkeep on some of the more faster growing and higher maintenance plants. But I definitely love a good planted tank. Rich says, already have a few cherries, but not doing as well as my Blue Dream 55-gallon. It's also summer. The Neos tend to not breed as much in the warmer weather as they do when it gets a little bit cooler. Trajiki says, I'm sorry if that's not how you pronounce your name. That's just how I'm assuming it's pronounced. Trajiki says, I'm just working on my 10-gallon planted tank. Not yet, Fish Person Vlogs. You may win, but I've not done it yet. I've not picked the winner yet. I can never stay away from bettas for too long. That's understandable, man. I like bettas. Priscilla MK in the house. So glad you're here, Priscilla. Bentley says, Bob and fish room tours of Gary Lang had me go, okay, sometime in the future I want them. Yeah, Gary Lang will definitely make you want some rainbows too. That guy has got some rainbows. That's awesome. Susan says Dovite can grow to 28 inches. Yeah, they get massive. Massively huge. See, there you go. There you go, Rich. Bentley says, I use 150 community rainbow tank to grow a ton of stems and clip them and bring them into my LFS for frozen food. There you go. Priscilla says, get a Maboo. Everybody needs a Maboo puffer, right? Nick says, I've got a Malawi tank, I've got a Central and South American, and a Guppy slash P puffer tank. It's awesome. Gary says, you and Flip got me into plecos. That's awesome, man. I love plecos, man. Plecos, they're in my top favorite fish. I'm a pleco nerd. If you couldn't tell, I'm a pleco nerd. Bentley says, I'm terrified of when I finally pull the trigger on some nice plecos. Blue phantoms and leopard frogs keep calling my name. Yeah, it can be nerve-wracking because some of those plecos can be expensive. So if you're gonna shell out the bucks for a fish, you really want it to go well. But I know what you mean. I want some leopard frogs bad, real bad. And everybody that has tried to identify what this fish is, they keep saying it's a zebra pleco. This is not a zebra pleco. I mean, it is black and white, but it's not a zebra pleco. It was inspired by the leopard frog, but again, it's black and white. It's not the leopard frog. So I've decided it is Hypencistris nerdius, which is a yet undiscovered species of pleco. See, I think I just skipped past a bunch of. Fish person says I'm going, but I bet I win. You got a pretty good chance, man. You've got a lot of comments on this video. JW says 39 away from 250 subscribers. That's awesome, man. Keep pressing. Keep pressing. I think that was pressing and pushing all in the same word. Coolinator says been really interested in flower horns. Like, flower horns are pretty sweet. I think Frank, Joey Mullins, flower horn. If I can talk today, goodness, his flower horn has got a lot of other people interested in them as well. They're pretty cool fish, though. See if there's any questions I missed or anything. Gary says, no, not you. I honestly didn't figure it was. I'm like, we just met last week. Susan says, I have my first pleco, and he's a character all over the tank and bosses other fish for his food. They will push each other around if they're competing for food. That is definitely a thing. Is the nerdiest USA bred? Yes. Only USA bred. Designer pleco hype. Exactly. Kevin's Fish Room says, why does everyone love pleco so much? I don't see a point in spending so much money on a fish you never see. It's not that you never see them. They can be a little bit elusive and hidey, but you do see them enough to enjoy them. And it's just the uniqueness of them and just how cool some of them can look. And some of them are actually pretty rare. So there's a novelty to it, and just a cool factor. But that's me though. Goonfoos says, do you still have super reds? If so, how much for a pair? I do have super reds. I do not have pairs. I've got a bunch that are about like 1.5 inches to 1.75 inches long. I don't have any available right now that are sexed out. So I'm not able to offer them in pairs since I don't know males from females yet. They're not quite that big yet. Coolinator says, arowana, been calling my name for years too. The black arowanas are pretty sweet. Other than the Asian arowanas, I really like the black arowana. I think I like the black better than the silver. Orlando Ruiz says, I finally started breeding plecos and they sell fast because I started selling them for $2 each. $2 each, they'll sell fast. I'll tell you that. Nick says, I'm 10 away from 250. Awesome. Susan's back. Crossway Woodworks. Don, what is going up, my man? If you guys are interested in woodworking at all, I realize that that's totally off genre from fish keeping and aquariums and stuff. But if you guys are into woodworking at all, go check out Crossway Woodworks. My buddy Don over there, he's just getting started with YouTube and he's doing an awesome job. Super cool dude. Let's see. Oh, I jumped down to the bottom again, but I don't know how far away from the bottom it was. Okay, here we go. Sorry, I corrected you. Nick, nice. Ronnie says, yep, Joey's getting me interested in them as well. I assume that's the flower horns. Crossway, I'm going to mod you, my brother. So if anybody acts up in here in the chat and I don't see it, you can take care of the situation. Don's actually he's a personal friend rather than just a buddy on YouTube. He's also a youth pastor, actually. So Coolinator says, get a bunch of bristlenose. You'll always see a couple then. Yeah, and my bristlenose, for the most part, are generally out and about anyway. I mean, there's individual personalities. I've got some of them, like my breeder male, he pretty much stays hidden unless it's feeding time. He comes out for food. But my calico female in my display tank, she's out and about all the time. My female breeders, they're out most of the time. Most of my fry are out most of the time, which I've got so many fry, they don't have much room to hide if they wanted to. But I mean, yeah, it's not like you never see plecos. I mean, there are some plecos that if you give them too much hiding space, you will never see them. But a lot of times, as long as they've got places to hide and you've got other fish in there, you should be able to see them at least often enough to enjoy them. Bentley says also, if you have good driftwood that's open, you can coax the plecos out to feed on the driftwood right in plain view. And that's another good point. If you've got like a piece of hardscape that kind of comes out above the floor, as long as they can be up underneath something, they may not always be hiding. They may feel secure up underneath like a piece of wood, but you can still see up in there in order to see them. Priscilla says, I've got a stupid question. No, you don't. Is there any pleco that can live in brackish? Not that I know of. There may be one, but I've never heard of one. But that's not a stupid question at all. That's actually a really interesting question, because if there is one, I want to know about it. Just not because I plan on keeping brackish, but just because I think that's cool. That would actually be pretty cool to possibly do with a brackish puffer and some plecos. Jamie Halliday says, have you ever bought fish where you regret later on down the line? If so, what and why? For example, my silver dollars, I'll eat everything and don't really give my other fish a chance. Yes, I have. And it was a Siamese algae eater that I still have because I got it to kind of combat some black beard algae. And it did pretty good. But then as it got bigger, it turned into more of a jerk. And it actually really bullied my black neons pretty heavily. And I think maybe even stressed some of them to death a little bit. But now that the neons have pretty much all died off over time, and the Siamese algae eater is still there, actually my Bolivian ram will kind of push the algae eater around a little bit and chase him off and that kind of thing. So he's kind of getting his just desserts now. The Bolivian ram doesn't, stress him, but he will let him know who's boss and tell him to get out of his space. Man Under Grace is back. Glad you're back, Michael. David Lee says, would anyone attempt to put a common pleco in a semi-violent African tank? He's outgrowing my 20 community. I have seen that done. I'm not going to say, well, I've never kept African, so I can't say that I've done it, and I'm not going to go out on a limb and say that it absolutely will work. I mean, because you never know, but I have seen that done. Racing's Natural Aquarium says, yes, Priscilla, they can adapt to fresh and brackish. I had no idea. That is I'm going to have to read up on that. That's pretty, especially if that's most plecos, that'd be pretty sweet. Ooh, and I've made it. Nope, I didn't make it to the bottom. I thought I had. Racing says, yep, all of them. A lot come from various types of water. Nick says, yes, there's a pleco in brackish. That's awesome. And Nick says, yes, I have a common and African tank. Racing says, the amount of rainfall determines the salinity of the water in different regions. Very cool. Very good to know. And also it would be a slow acclimation and not one advised. Yeah, that part doesn't surprise me, that even if they can handle brackish, that it's probably not the best for them. And you definitely wouldn't want to just go straight from fresh to brackish. Yeah, that totally makes sense. But I've made it down to the bottom of the comments. So now it is time to do the drawing. Okay, YouTube random. Oop, I need to set my OBS to show my screen. All right, can you guys see my screen now? Somebody comment and let me know if you can see my screen instead of seeing my face. I'm just gonna wait for confirmation before I plug it in there. All right, Coolinator says yes, you can see my screen. So here we go. We're gonna start. Drum roll. Sharfin Bean says, Carlos, I'm really enjoying your channel. Keep up the good work. I'd love a t-shirt. Well, congratulations, Sharfin, because you have won one. Thank you to everyone who participated, commented on that video. I appreciate everybody's support, and I haven't been saying this through the live stream, but I should have. Thank you guys, all of you, so much for all the support. The only reason I've got 500 subscribers is because 500 of you guys, actually now 620-ish, are totally awesome. And I really appreciate it, guys. I really appreciate everybody watching my videos, subscribing to my channel. And I mean, it blows my mind that there's a few hundred people that are actually interested in what I'm putting out there. So thank you guys so much. I'm going to try my best to make it worth your time. Since you're spending your time watching my videos, I'm going to do my best to make my videos worth your time and be as entertaining as I can and also as informational as I can, because I don't want to. VStack says 630. Are we for real? I only had like 619 earlier today. That's awesome. See, you guys rock. Robert Christie says, I love your channel. You're an inspiration to me. Dude, thank you so much. Thank you very much, man. That means a lot. I consider myself not only a small channel based off of the number of, I mean, 630 subscribers in the scheme of things of when you look at guys like King of DIY and Dustin's Fish Tanks and Aquarium Co-op and those guys who've got thousands and thousands of subscribers. It's like, and especially when you get out of the aquarium realm and there's all kinds of, daily vloggers and people have millions of subscribers. I'm like a piece of sand on the beach. But so that anybody would say something as nice as what Robert just said there, that I'm an inspiration, that really humbles me, and I'm not faking that. I really appreciate it, because even in just the aquarium YouTube realm of things, guys like Sergeant Tank, they know a lot more about this stuff than I do. They've been doing it a lot longer. They've got a lot more tanks, a lot better tanks than what I've got. Aquarium Co-op. I mean, there's no way I'm even in the same ballpark or realm of guys like that who've just got all these tanks and all this experience. But I hope with the small bit of experience and the small bit of knowledge that I do have, I hope that I can leverage that to at least just spread the love for the hobby, because I may not have all the experience in the hobby that some other people have, but I've definitely got some love for this hobby, and I want to spread that to you guys. JW Aquarium says everyone sub each other, hashtag fish fam. Absolutely, JW. Everybody subscribe. A lot of good people here in this chat right now. Susan says, thanks, Carlos. Got to go get ready. Love you and God bless. Love you too, Susan. You are awesome. Really appreciate you being here. And everybody go to Susan's stream. She's going to be firing up here in about 4 or 5 minutes. So I'm going to be shutting this one down here in just a couple of minutes. And so everybody here, go to Susan's stream from here. Mark's Arc says, I'm doing a contest for 200. I was at 201, but lost 2, so hope it will be soon. Go for it, man. Go ahead and do it. Go ahead and claim that. Racing says it'll come back, Mark, for sure. Yeah, there's always like a 1 or 2 up and down once you get to a certain point. I think I missed a bunch of the chat. A lot of congrats going out. Nick says, having humility is humbling. Keep up the great work, bro. All of you guys inspire me to do more. I stink at making videos. I just hope I can help somebody else into the hobby. Hey, man, don't down yourself, man. You do you and do it your way. And we've all got our different styles and our own approaches, and everybody receives each other differently. And there's going to be some people that only you can impact, man. Bentley says sometimes the best perspective is the less experienced person. That can be true, especially, you know, if somebody's not set in their ways or something like that. Dollar Gallon say at Petco, get more tanks. Is that going on right now? Sergeant Tank says, how can I go about getting one of those awesome Fish Nerd shirts? These are available at teespring.com/thefishnerd, and that's the-fish-nerd. I need to get a better solution than Teespring, though, because the way it's set up on Teespring, there has to be at least 3 people order within like a short given time frame. And if 3 people don't order, then it doesn't do the transaction for anybody. Like, it doesn't charge. Like, if 2 people order and then the time runs up and that 3rd person never orders, it doesn't charge either of the 2 people that ordered, and it doesn't print their shirts and ship them out either. So you have to get at least 3 people to order in order for the shirts to go out. And that just stinks, you know, especially if, you know, one person orders a shirt, but then they don't get their shirt because 2 other people didn't, you know. So, I mean, when you're as big as like the King of DIY, because he's going through Teespring for his current promotion too, and you've got that many people that are going to be ordering shirts as what he's got, it's not a problem. But when you're a lot lesser known like I am, and you're going to have 1 or 2 people a month order a shirt, it's just not really a good option. So I'm trying to figure something else out where I can get the shirts and get them on my own website. But for now, they're on teespring.com. Mr. M says, keep it up and you'll soon have thousands of followers. That'd be awesome, man. I appreciate the encouragement, but that would be sweet. Danny's Aquarium says, hello, everyone. It's 1 a.m. here in the Netherlands. Hey, thanks for joining us here, man, in the late night. He's 20 subs away from 1,400. That's awesome. I think we've got about 20 people here, or at least we did. I think we had 22 earlier. 27 right now, so that's awesome. So if 20 of the 27 people here are not subscribed to Danny, go subscribe to Danny and get him to 1,400. That'd be sweet. Priscilla says, thanks for the stream. Thank you for being here, Priscilla. I really appreciate it. Down the Wormhole says, just got here. You just missed it, Down the Wormhole. Sharfin Bean won the t-shirt. Robert Christie says, you're the reason I have a fish tank. Dude, that is awesome. I did not expect that there'd be people that I'm already impacting that are just getting into the hobby that I inspired to get into it. That's awesome, man. That encourages me. I appreciate that, man. Oh, I accidentally skipped down a little too far. Where'd we go? Where'd we go? Rachel Payne's that. I'm really bummed I didn't win. You didn't comment, Rachel. Thanks for coming in here, Rachel. That's awesome. I'll have to tell Regina that you were in the chat in here. Rachel is my wife's very best friend for many years. Also, she is Crossway Woodworks' wife. And again, if you guys are into woodworking at all, go to his channel, Crossway Woodworks. He's just getting started, and he's already doing some really cool stuff. Priscilla says I'll be doing an art giveaway on my channel in a couple-ish weeks or so. I will be watching for that because I love the artwork you do, Priscilla. That stuff is super cool. Aquatic Jack says, there you go, Mark. You're back to 200. Racing says, Priscilla, your work is awesome. I wholeheartedly agree. Joel Galot, how's it going? Hello. You just missed the drawing, man. Sharpfin Beam won, but I'm glad you're here, man. I'm stoked to see you in here. That's awesome. JW says, once I hit 350, I'm going to do a giveaway. Awesome. Robert says, you're the reason I got into fish keeping. Dude, that is so awesome. Thank you, Robert. That is awesome. I'm glad you told me that. Cooling Air says Petco has the $1 gallon for up to 29. Joel says I'd never order from them again after one shirt, quote unquote, got stolen and the replacement got sent to England. Ooh, yeah, that can hurt your brand. So I hate to hear that. V-Stag says, thanks for the awesome stream. Thank you, V-Stag, for being here. I really appreciate it, man. Quite Jack says, are you still using your phone to live stream? No, I am on OBS. Mark's Arc says, great stream. Later, everyone. Thanks, Mark. And I'm going to have to cut it off here, but it is now time for, I haven't got the notification that she's gone live yet, but Susan for SLC Aquatics is supposed to be going live at 7, and we're 4 minutes past that, so I probably missed the notification. Aquatic Jack says, what is Susan's channel? It is Susan for SLC Aquatics. So let's all head over there and support Susan because she's awesome. You guys are awesome. Thank you guys so much for joining me in the live stream. God bless you, fish nerds. See you next time.